Today, we're going to show you how to replace the coil cable on the Force Kraken Trolling Motor. For this process, we will need a number 1 and number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, 2.5, 3, and 4 mm hex bit drivers, clippers, zip ties, and the replacement coil cable. First, disconnect the trolling motor from power. Then, remove the 3 screws securing the right shroud using a 4 mm hex bit driver. Remove the right shroud. Disconnect the power cable from the wire junction box. Then, remove the 3 screws holding the wire harness on the mount using a 3 mm hex bit driver. Feed the power and transducer cable from the channel on the side of the E-box and under the foot lever. Then, remove the 4 screws under the shaft cap using a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. Now, remove the shaft cap. Then, disconnect the USB cable and data cable from the antenna box. Disconnect the sonar cable if you have a freshwater trolling motor. Next, cut the 2 zip ties holding the power and ground cables using clippers. Pull back the rubber covers on the power and ground cables. Then, remove the set screws on the power and ground cables using a 2.5 mm hex bit driver. Now, remove the 4 screws holding the cable coil bracket using the number 1 Phillips head screwdriver. Disconnect the power and ground cables in the shaft cap. Slide the cable bracket off the coil cable and remove it from the opening of the bottom of the shaft cap. Wrap the coil cable around the shaft based off the shaft length. For this video, we are using the Force Kraken Trolling Motor with a 63-inch shaft. We will wrap the coil cable 5 times. Next, feed the power and transducer cable through the channel on the side of the E-box and underside of the foot lever. Align the wire harness to the 3 holes on the side of the mount. Reinsert and tighten the 3 screws to the wire harness and mount using a 3 mm hex bit driver. Align and tighten the 3 screws on the right shroud using a 4 mm hex bit driver. Then, insert the coil cable into the opening on the bottom of the shaft cap housing. Slide the bracket onto the coil cable. Now, align the bracket with the 4 holes on the bottom of the shaft cap housing. Tighten the 4 screws provided in the service kit using a number 1 Phillips head screwdriver. Then, reconnect the power and ground cable. Tighten the set screws on the power and ground cables using a 2.5 mm hex bit driver. Slide the rubber covering back over the power and ground cables. Now, secure the power and ground cables to the bottom of the shaft cap using 2 zip ties. Reconnect the sonar cable if one is present. Make sure the split connector and rubber O-ring are attached before tightening. Now, reconnect the USB and the data cable to the antenna box. Then, place the lid back on the shaft cap. Finally, insert and tighten the 4 screws securing the lid of the shaft cap using the number 2 Phillips head screwdriver. And that's it. Thanks for watching. For more help, please visit marinesupport.garmin.com.